I am back again in effect, y'all. I'm listening to everything today. um, oh, lit. Smoker's cough, y'all. Anyway, like I said, now we're gonna move on to this one: the immigration crackdown on TPS. These Haitians are still crying. They want to extend their TPS, and that the court should look at these cases so that they can really view that everybody should not be sent back. If you came on TPS, we don't have to look at anything. You had 16 years in the United States of America, or even more longer time than that. I don't know. But whatever way you came, it wasn't legal on under the administration you came under TPS. So you will have to return back to your place of origin, or you can go wherever else you can go. But you got to leave the United States because we are no longer going to be extending TPS status, and we are no longer accepting we are no longer doing TPS right now. Right now, we, the American people, are in need of our jobs, higher paying jobs on top of that, to make a living here for ourselves in our own home. So and things that our ancestors and everything built for us and left behind for us. Y'all just draining everything, taking everything. It's time to go home. And I want y'all to hear these news anchor women from this station give you the details of the story.
For thousands of families across the country. A federal deadline is now ending temporary protected status for many Haitians, and it's raising new questions about what comes next for one of South Florida's largest communities. And CBS 12 News reporter Paige Meyer is live in Palm Beach County this morning, breaking down what today's deadline means for our community. Paige?
Sam, Steph, good morning. Well, there's a lot of uncertainty for these families right now, and this could have a real impact here in South Florida. An estimated 350,000 Haitians nationwide could be affected as temporary protected status expires. About 150,000 of them live here in Florida. Advocates say many of them work in healthcare, hospitality, hotels, and at airports. Those are jobs that help keep South Florida running. They warn losing those workers could worsen staffing shortages for businesses already struggling to hire. Supporters say this goes beyond immigration status. They note many TPS holders have lived here for years, pay taxes, own homes, and support local businesses. So now families.
But the thing is that what they don't understand is that there's millions of Americans that can replace those jobs. You'd be surprised how many people took other kind of paying jobs just so that they can work and put food on the table, but that's not what they actually trained in. Some people just took jobs just to, you know, to eat. But these Haitians, they've been here for years and years and years on those jobs, and those jobs are supposed to go higher on the market, and those jobs are supposed to be open to American citizens, people that are trained in that profession. See, they gonna come with all kind of leverage to get to stay in the United States illegally, and they're gonna do everything they can to keep trying to push it. And that's why American people voice should be out here and saying, no, we had enough. It's time for them to go home. We done. I'm out of work right now. Okay, so it's time for these people to find themselves back to their country and find jobs there. That's what they need to do. The same way y'all was able to free yourselves from the French in 1804, the same way y'all can find yourself back home and keep yourselves free. Okay? Because enough is enough. Coming and live in other people's country and drain up all their resources. And it's American people out here starving, need homes that needs to be replaced in these jobs. Let's go. And of course, it's going to be a tight staff because it's going to have to get rid of all the illegals so they can place all the legal ones in those jobs and also pay more money for those jobs.
And employers are watching to see how quickly federal enforcement moves forward. Now, ICE has said it's preparing to extend and expand those operations as soon as this week. Now, this morning, immigration attorneys are urging anyone who may be impacted by this to speak to a qualified legal expert to review the options to remain here in the country. We're live in Palm Beach.
That's a lie. That's just a way to get them out safely. They're going to tell you they want you to come and see somebody so that they can Review your options. But the options, there's no option. Steve Miller and everybody already came forward and said, well, you're not giving no amnesty. So what other option is there? They're gonna try to get you to come down to the place. I shouldn't be saying it, but at least you know before you go there what's going to be happening, right? They're going to have to take you in, okay? Because there's no TPS and there won't be any extensions. Steve Miller and Marco Rubio and maybe some other people came forward and they spoke and they said, no, we cannot do this because there's more people you living here illegally than is supposed to be legally. And if we do that for one person, we got to do it for everybody. And we can't afford to do that. So you got to go. It goes for everybody. And if anybody that do break that law, then it's on you because American people need to be back to work. We need to bring back the American jobs and we need to put the American life back in America. We need those jobs for an American nurse. There's plenty of young people who've been trained and skilled and they are citizens of the United States of America that can be people to be on those jobs. It could get them away from whatever other stuff that's, you know, that they now putting in their substance they putting in their bodies or whatever just to deal with their depression for not working and just draining American resources up and American people can't even live in the comfort of their own country. These people coming here, they living better than Americans. And that shouldn't be. We supposed to be living better in our own country. And this is not fair to the American people. They gotta go home. We extended ourselves enough to them.
Annie Page Meyer, CBS 12 News.
Okay, y'all. Okay, let's read some of the comments. So, of course, mine's is there. I said no more TPS, no more smuggling and illegals. There are plenty of young Americans coming out of nursing school that speak proper English that can replace those jobs. There's 190 other countries they can apply to go to. Americans need to help right now. Veterans, homeless people looking for work right now. See what I'm saying? There won't be a staffing problem hiring American citizens. Amen. I said there are like a million homeless citizens. Let's stabilize these people and help get them into all the jobs that are opening up. Give our citizens the same level of support the TPS holders were getting. Housing assistance, food assistance, long enough to get them stabilized and into all the jobs that are opening up. Time to invest in our citizens and get them working again. And I hear that. This person said it all. Just exactly what I said. Give them jobs so American people that bury people rebuild their lives. Okay? Because them taking these jobs have really hurt the American people lives. We don't we believe in upward mobility. We believe in not staying in a certain class system. We don't do class system. And they're trying to bring class system to us over here, but we're not accepting that. Give American people back their jobs so they can go to work, happily go to work. And these men can go to work too and take care of their family. Every family pull together and pull themselves together. And we'll be a happy American. I'm not saying perfect, but it could be America again, the way it's supposed to be. We very happy with our Constitution. We don't have a problem with our Constitution. But the only problem we have is people got to abuse the immigration policy and they brought people in that not supposed to be here. And our immigration policy is not to hub every criminal and every poor people all over the world. No, we don't do that. It's not used for that, and people been abusing it. So these people got to go home, and we Americans need our jobs, our lives back. We need our jobs back. The sooner the better. It says buy a house when I don't, it's sad. It's a whole lot of Americans who've been working all their damn life can't buy a house because of the mortgage rate. And what they looking for to squeeze all the people pockets. It's just ridiculous. You can't even buy a house. You can't even buy, you living in your apartment for a certain amount of time. You want to buy it and just stay in it and that's it. You know what I'm saying? They buying up everything, living all over the place and bringing all their families over here and everything. No, it's time for them to go home so American people can build their lives, that American people can live their life the comfortable way they want to live in their own country that they fought for. Those jobs will be replaced in a few days. When you quit a job or leave one, these jobs are very replaceable. It sure is. I said, thank you, ICE. Somebody said, thank you, ICE, for protecting us. Everybody is nobody saying, keep them here. When you go to these video channels and you hear the people
Many
voice
Haitians.
under these things, you want to see a lot of people are not pleased with having immigrants living in their country. This is not even a thing that's is happening
Work every
here.
day and clocks in and works his.
This is not just only an American problem. This is a global problem, and not only just our sovereign nation. It's in all these different countries. Like, get them out of here. We don't want no more Muslims in our country. We don't want no more foreigners living in our country, because it drives down the wages of the American people, and it makes your life miserable. They try to make everybody on the same level, and everybody is not working on the same level. Those who put in the most gifts and talent of their work, they should be paid equally for what they're worth. They should be paid for their services. And if that person done nothing and they were lazy, they shouldn't be paid. And that's biblical. You can't make people pay. It says if you don't work, you don't freaking eat. And nobody else should be up here telling you that it's okay to keep giving lazy people your money. That your hard earned money, and force you to do that. No. They don't work, they don't eat. Simple as that. But right now, they're not living in the right country. They need to go back to their own country and get fed over there. Because this food over here belongs to the United States of America children. It's just so crazy. People don't want to have to keep living like this. Now, this is another one. Now, they are in questioning things about the Biden, I believe it's the Biden administration. Who's this video on? Oh, this is a Senate hearing. And this is about, it says a Senate Homeland Security Committee hearing, title examining fraud and foreign influence in state and federal programs, turned chaotic as senators declare over allegation of fraud, foreign influence, and so-called dark money networks connected Minnesota programs. Subscribe. I always said these programs, and let me tell you something, this money is being, these federal funds that they are tunneling through, they can catch that money. That's the money they were able to catch. But the money that they using through all these other, apps and everything, like PayPal and Cash App and you name it. These people got these things set up like Chime, all these ways of actually making digital transactions. These digital transactions don't leave footprints. They can't be found through the government. They haven't got a system yet to catch them when they're using fraud through the government. And that's why I said people need to stop using so much digital transactions and start using more of their money by banking. And a lot of places need to, restrict certain having cash machines and everything in stores and stuff like that. If they don't go to a damn bank and they ain't got no money, no cash, then they just cash out. But I don't think stores should have ATM machines. That's another way. If you walk inside all these foreign businesses today, you will see they all have an ATM in their stores. And now they even got the some kind of digital coin machine thing, whatever, sitting there. All of this stuff is the government needs to look at. That these stores should not allow to have these vending machines or anything else in they stores. They shouldn't have ATMs, because those are ways to crack down on these criminals. And then as far as with the cell phones, I think they need to bring back the pay phones. Pay phones need to be on every corner, just in case you need to make a phone call that you see something, you don't want your number out there, so you want to make that call through a payphone. It could be used for something. I'll put them damn payphones back out there, because sometimes people want to make a call, an emergency call or whatever, and they don't have their phone with them, and you need that payphone. That payphone should be in every corner, somewhere around somewhere. It should be a payphone. We shouldn't. Some things we should never ever get and never get. You need a payphone, and even a telephone booth if you have to. Put it on the corners again because those things were safe. Those were the ways we used to stay safe in back in the days, and we didn't even have cell phones. It was a payphone. It was the payphones that kept you safe. You had a little dime, a quarter, something change in your pocket. You could make that phone call. You don't have to use nobody else's cell phone on the street, and they could have your number. And you don't know if they could be a terrorist or whatever the hell they is. It's better to bring back the payphones. Well, anyway, y'all, I had this one for you. Um, they talking about something here. I'm gonna listen to a little bit of it, and then I have to go.
Off and tries to earn just enough to be able to, make his rent, maybe have a kid or two, put food on the table. His tax money is being used to buy other people luxury items, cars, yachts, whatever else, and is going to fund terrorism and child trafficking.
Yes, sir.
$1 trillion a year on this stuff.
$115 million an hour.
$115 million an hour. How do they get in their hands on it? What are we talking about here? Trends, national organizations, criminal networks? How do they get their hands on this money?
They take advantage of antiquated government systems and processes. They go into programs that they know elected and appointed officials won't touch, and they can steal at scale. And what happened really was during the pandemic, between the PPP loans and the unemployment insurance, they learned a really valuable lesson. Government never runs out of money, and the probability of getting caught is virtually zero. I have it at 0.1%.
So come back to the recommendations that you mentioned in your opening statement. What do we need to do to put a stop to this hemorrhaging of people's hard-earned money going overseas to finance child trafficking and luxury yachts? I mean, what needs to happen here?
It's really simple. It's used every single day in the commercial sector. Front-end identity verification. You just don't get to say, I am who I say I am. Second, recertification of all the recipients. There is so much fraud right now in the benefit programs all across the country. We need to get a baseline. Third, this notion of a third-party independent audit. And finally, is involving federal law enforcement like the Secret Service to investigate it. The thing that people don't understand.
And the thing is that that's why I said back in the days when I had to pay my electricity bill and everything, I had to either mail it in to the bill company, and I also had to either do it that way by check, and they give you those options today as well. But I'm just saying, like sometimes you have to call, you got to talk to somebody, and you got to get prompt through all this digital whatever craziness, and then I've always called to talk to somebody live. I need to talk to him. If you want to get this, hit two. I don't want to hear all of that shit. I want to talk to a person that knows what the work is and what to do and how to write it down so they know that we had this conversation or they said we on this recorded line. Okay, I get that. But the thing is that most of the places that you used to pay your bill, you had one that was close by that you go right there to the office to pay your electricity bill. Now you got to pay through. People could use now like the pay their bills through. Um, they go inside sometimes the phone company, or you go to Walmart and use their vending to pay bills. This is how these people are using money that the government is not tracing. Places like Western Union, places like MoneyGram, places like this is what he's saying. MoneyGram, Western Union, they be sending money, but you can only send a certain amount of money when you wiring money out of the United States of America. The government keeps control over it because you are only allowed to wire a certain amount of money at a time, like $500. I think it used to be 500. Some places they might give you a limit of 250, $2,500. When you're traveling out of the United States of America, they got to give you a certain. You travel with a certain amount of money on you. That's why people get checked at the by the they get checked point there at the airport because people are traveling. They traveling in packs. You got this amount of money in a suitcase. You got that amount of money in a suitcase, and you got, how they put it through. How they travel. They could have like 20 or something million people traveling in a day. Like he just said, $115 million a day. How they travel? They traveling through whatever way they traveling. They be traveling, moving their money around, and how they get to move the money around through the money transfer system. And their money transfer system is like I said, they could use wire transfers and things of that nature through telegrams, like I said, Western Union, MoneyGram, and also other places, Cash App, PayPal, Apple Pay, you name it. This is how these criminals move. This is they know how to work within the system, how to move where the government is not tracing it. And now that they onto it, they will be, because the system got to get updated. That's why I say don't always be used to using digital payment systems all the time. Use sometimes your common sense and sometimes just go in, write a check, and do it that way. Still use your checkbooks if you have to. Stores need to come back with using checkbooks as well, and things of that nature, so that they can see how money moving around in the wealth. Because everything you shopping online, digital, online, whatever, those things could be moving in other places like terrorism. You know what I'm saying? Outside of the United States of America. That's why I don't trust the online shopping. I would rather go, and you don't want all your information out there online anyway, all your banking information and your address and all that other stuff. So the best thing to do sometimes is to go inside of the mall, the shopping malls or shopping stores and everything, and shop around for what you might find in there that you might be attracted to, or something you might want to buy. Because sometimes it's better to just have things right there on hands than to be in some doggone watching it in a digital way, or if you want to order in a digital way or whatever. But it's not safe to do it like that anymore because people are wicked and crooked, and a lot of this money is being channeled through other entities.
Understand is that most of these beneficiaries, Senator, they're not real. They're fake. There's someone's stolen identity that is getting used in all 50 states.
Incredible. Senator Kim, do you have anything further?
Yeah, thank you, Chairman. I mean, look, what you just laid out there, Mr. Talco. I mean, it should piss off every single American. And this is absolutely atrocious, and it just, I'm just.
You know why? Because people are lazy, and they will look for the quickest way to do things, and they don't realize that these lazy things, tactics that they use, these fast ways of transactions that they use, is putting them in a lot of trouble. Even them trying to offer you these loan payments and all these other things, tear that shit up and throw it in the garbage, because that's another scam. All of these things that they doing is not by the American government. And I got caught out there because they sent me a check. I got a check for like $2,500. It looked real and everything. And it had the names of banks, everything. I took the check right there to the bank. I cashed it. The teller probably couldn't tell it was real or anything. And I only took out a certain amount of money on it and whatever. I rented a car, went shopping, whatever with that money. And the next thing I looked at my bank account, they had minus so and so. And I was like, what? I went to the bank and everything. I said, why my check? I just put a check in. They said to me, Miss, the check was fraud. And it happens a lot here. The teller just didn't see it, and she didn't know. And I was like, I didn't know. And they said that's why you got to train your tellers very well how to find, what you call that again, chat? A check that is fraud, a fraudulent check. I worked as a teller, so I know how they teach us and they train us what to look for to see that check is fraud. And even some money, dollar bills be walking by that look real and they not real. You got to be very careful. And I worked in a money processing place too. So I know what money, what fraudulent looks like when it's going through the the place. So I'm just saying that's how they work. They work through wire transfers, beneficiaries be fake. They have a place where the money's going to be picked up at and all this other stuff, and they got the money moving around from state to state and out of the country and in other places where they running their cartels and they enterprise.
It's furious, honestly, Chairman. And like, I think that there is something here, as we've tried in other hearings too, where we can work in a bipartisan way to be able to address this. You know, my job today, I'm not trying to defend any single state. I'm just saying that we can't look at it just through that lens. I mean, Mr. Talco, you were talking about this, saying the criminals are looking at this nationally. Is that right? I think that was your quote.
Yes, sir.
Then we need to make sure we're looking at this nationally too, because it's not something that any single state is going.
Well, now you know we on it. You know what I'm saying? But let me tell you something. The same people that's sitting there making these laws and trying to tighten up the criminal activity, it's just got to be up to individuals, to be honest with you, because you can't be in control of other people's minds, other people's thoughts, other people's heart. You only could be in control of your own heart, your own mind, and your own thoughts. So while they putting this information out there, people should, it will at least let people know you got a choice. You can make the wrong choice. You get involved with this criminal activity. These are the things that we're going to do. Don't be ignorant to the law because it's out there, okay? It's nothing else they can do about it but put the information out there that they're working on it, they're aware of it, and you just got to do what's right for you to try to take as much, precautions as you can that you just don't become one of their victims. And that's it. You can't control whatever other criminals are going to think about doing. Like, oh, well, they got onto this one, so I'm going to try this way. There's no easy way because mostly criminals, they always look for the easy way. They lazy people. They don't want to work for nothing, but they can put all that power into stealing it from somebody else. Make it make sense. Lazy people. Lazy people don't want to work and get it out the dirt for themselves, but they can always know how to work to steal from somebody else who worked to get it. You got all that mind to know how to do that. Why don't you apply for a job at such and such and such, and do it do an honest, clean job if you know how to do things to get money turning through whatever. But don't do it to be wicked. If you gifted in that kind of skill, don't do it to be wicked. Like I don't. That's the mind of a criminal. That's the idiot of a criminal. Criminals are lazy. They look for an easy way. They lawless people. They godless people. They don't think about consequences. They just feel that they could get away with it. That's it. So with that being said, God bless you. I love you and peace.